So that's Hanan and Mrs. Hanan, both of whom have been charged. Justice Sremsai said the last week that they were going to bring new charges against Hanan. They said they have withdrawn the charges so that they're going to do new charges. In the very ridiculous post he put on X, he said, so that the process will be fair. That's what Sremsai said, that they are withdrawing the charges and bring new charges so that the process will be fair and speedy. That's an attorney general talking. If an attorney general puts a social media post and says that charges have been withdrawn, we're going to bring new charges so that the process will be fair. These were his words, not mine. He said fair. What does it mean? Well, the earlier process was unfair. The attorney general confesses to an unfair process against Hanan. In those days, Kofi Komsin was writing Chronicle, would have seen the banner headline, Attorney General confesses to maltreating Hanan. Because that's really what Justice Sremsai did when he said in his post on X that the purpose of the withdrawal of the charges is so that they will be fair and speedy. Fair. We thought that every process under the criminal code, under Act 29 and 30, is expected to be fair. If he's being prosecuted by the learned attorney general, we expect that as the leader of the bar, he's fair to the people he's prosecuting. But here comes the deputy attorney general who is under pressure to explain why charges are being withdrawn because a lot of noise was made about this Hanan matter. His boss, Dominic Ayeni, had held a press conference and created a wild perception that Hanan was such a broad thief that within 1 week he'd be convicted, made allegations that were so blatant and so huge. He has stolen this, he has stolen that, he has watches, he has bags, he has this and that and that. The learned attorney general said all these things. And so now you start prosecuting, and then we find out that you are not confident in the charges that you have preferred against the accused person. So you want to withdraw the charges. And the deputy attorney general says the purpose of withdrawing the charges is so that we are fair and speedy. Anyway, after a while, in fact, the deputy attorney general said, charges are coming today. It didn't come. 1 week has passed. After a while, now the charges have come. Viewers are going to be shocked when I show you the charges. Let's get right onto it. So we have put side by side the old charge sheet and the new charge sheet. The old charge sheet is entitled The Republic versus Hanan Abdul Wahab, Faisal Seiduwuni, Richard Sam Asante, the Aludiba Foundation, Energy Partners Limited. And the charge sheet is there. That's it. That's one. Now, on the face of this, you will see, viewers, that the accused persons have now drastically reduced. In the first charge sheet, the accused persons are 5. In the second charge sheet, the accused persons are 2. Should we make anything of it? Not yet. Let's move on. Let's build on the case and you understand. Sremsai told us that there's a better charge coming. Martin Pebu told us that the charges being withdrawn means that they have discovered more loot. This is what Martin Pebu said. The man that Kwame Ekufu said he does not belong to the community of reading men. Martin Pebu has demonstrated it again, that Kwame Ekufu may have been right. That he does not belong to the community of reading men because he quickly came out to speak and say that, oh, the withdrawal of charges means that there's been more loot. Let's go into the charges and see whether they found more loot or they didn't find it. Okay, so this is the first page. Accused persons reduced from 5 to 2. Let's go to the next one. This is another one that has some gossip with it. I'll be telling you later. The first charge sheet is signed by Dominic Ayeni, the Honorable Attorney General. The second charge sheet is signed by Justice Sremsai, the Deputy Attorney General. Should we make anything of it? Not yet. Let's move on. So we proceed. So this is beautiful. This is what my producer put together. How did we get here? Great. Let's go on. Withdrawal of charges. It was on May 5th, 2026. The state withdrew all charges against Hanan and 4 others after nearly a year. The charge, what was that? Can I go back to that one? Yes, great. Okay. The charge sheet was signed by Dr. Ayeni. Background and publicity. Charges were preceded by a press conference by the Attorney General branding the case as Rumble in the Jungle. Can you imagine that, viewers? Do you remember that? An Attorney General who is about to prosecute a case hosts a press conference and is showing some stardom, and he says, oh, this case is called Rumble in the Jungle. Rumble in the Jungle is a term used for a boxing match between Muhammad Ali and was it George Foreman or Joe Frazier? Ali and Frazier fought Rumble in the Jungle 1, Rumble in the Jungle 2, and the Rumble in the Jungle was fought in Zaire, and that's why Ali called it Rumble in the Jungle. So it's a sports term. The learned Attorney General addressing press conference about prosecution of a Ghanaian says that it is going to be called Rumble in the Jungle, as if we are joking in this country, as if the Attorney General is some joke, some play, some game we are playing. Attorney General titles a case Rumble in the Jungle. Is he a journalist? Is he the editor of the Chronicle? Attorney General, you titled Rumble in the Jungle. The case management conference lasted over 5 months before the withdrawal. Okay. Now, this is the former Iyoko CEO wife discharged as state withdraws the charges. Okay. So the state then withdrew the charges. Now, prior to withdrawal, the AG had tried to add new evidence to the case, but to no avail, as the court dismissed same on the objection of counsel for the accused person. Deputy Attorney General later claimed on Facebook that it was due to fresh evidence. Martin Pigbu, the NDC oral committee member, suggested this meant more loot. However, new charge sheet shows no substantive new charges. This is the case. The new charge sheet they've got, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It shows that there's no substantive new charges. So after Justice Srimsai's bragging that he was going to bring new charges, he brought nothing. In fact, the sum of money against Hanan claimed by the state in the new charges has actually reduced. So the bragging of Srimsai has come to nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because the charges have actually reduced. If you were charging, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. Okay. Comparison of the charge sheet. The old charge sheet had 78 million cedis involved with 24 counts and 5 accused persons, including Hanan's companies. The new charge sheet has 60 million cedis involved, 20 counts, and 2 accused persons. So 60 million is lower than 78 million. Actually, it's lower by 18 million. Only 2 new charges have been added, which is accounting for 734,000 cedis. They said he claims some rent on something. Hanan's wife charges is 3.3 million cedis. Hanan's companies have been removed from the case. So viewers, this is where we are. After Srimsai bragging that he was going to bring some new charges, when the new charges came, they were actually lower. They're asking for less money from Hanan than they were asking the first time. It means they've gone to their books and they found out that there's a certain 18 million that they don't have a justification for. This was part of Dominic Ayini's press conference, which he called Rumble in the Jungle. This is the kind of state we have in Ghana, where the very distinguished office of the Attorney General is working like this. The very, very distinguished office of the Attorney General is now working like this. Press conference, Rumble in the Jungle. And a deputy comes and says that the charges are going to be removed so that we are fair and speedy. Then a certain Martin Pigbu at the back, running commentary without being a member of the community of reading men, says that the withdrawal of the charges means that there is more loot. And then the charges come and it is this. It is a reduced. Accused persons have been reduced. The quantum of money that the state is claiming has been reduced by 18 million. Questions ought to be asked of the diligence and the prudence of work that was done at the Attorney General's office before, for A, the press conference, and B, the filing of the first abortive charges. The court's observation. The judge noted reduction in the charges and accused persons and therefore reduced the bail from a threshold of 100 million to now 60 million. The judge, the presiding judge, has taken notice of the reduced charges and now says that the bail threshold that was set at 100 million for Hanan and his wife has now been reduced by 40 million to 60 million. That is the new charges, which is supposed to be fair and speedy. That's the new charges that was called a more loot. This is what is happening.